Hey guys, just wanted to check in with you and just cover a little bit of the content that I don't know if the book did such a great job with, and that's Erik Erikson. Remember, we like Erik Erikson as a theorist the most because he's been along with us on this train ride from the beginning to the very end. So remember, just to review, each stage of life, Erik Erikson says there's a test presented to you and you pass it or you fail it. Now, at the end of the life, what we look at the final test is integrity versus despair. So here's the idea. Let's say, imagine I'm laying on my deathbed many, many, many years from now. I'm laying on my deathbed and I'm looking back at my life. How do I feel? Do I feel like, well, I lived a life that was within my values and that I did the best I could? Maybe everything didn't turn out the way I wanted, but I gave it my best shot and I acted with integrity and according to what I think is important. Then I may have a sense of of integrity. That I always think of the sports metaphor. I didn't leave anything out on the field, right? I did the best I could. I lived my life according to my values, and that's the successful completion. Now, what if we don't do this? This is the most. All right, here we go. The most depressing story you'll get. All semester long, I say the most depressing story to the very end. Okay, my father was dying at age 85. He had actually died 2 times before. At 75, he had a massive heart attack and was just flatline dead for 6 minutes. And then they resuscitated him. And at first, the doctor said he's not going to make it. He did make it, and he made a recovery. And then another 5 years later, he had a huge aneurysm in his stomach and bled out, and once again was flatline dead. His blood pressure was 0/0, and they managed to cut him open and sew up where the veins had burst. And he had another 5 years. So really, by all means, my dad had 2 different 5-year extensions on his life. That's pretty good, right? Pretty good. Well, when my dad now at 85, now he's dying, and this is going to be the final time. There's no coming back. And I remember I'm sitting there in the hospital next to his bed, and I said, Dad, is there anything I can get you? And he said, Paul, what I need you can't give me. And I said, what do you need? And I'll never forget the gesture that he made. The gesture he made was, I need more time. Okay. Isn't that depressing? He lived to 85. I'd take to 85. I'd be happy to make it to 85. He had 2 different gifts of another 5 years, 2 different times, another gift of another 10 years of life. And yet he felt that he hadn't accomplished what he needed to accomplish. So as sad as that is, the lesson there is that's the not successfully passing this test and the despair part of it. So what I like about the story and what I like about thinking about that, hopefully none of us are close to the end of our life or to the point where we'll face this test. But maybe there's a way we can take it and change what we're doing now to try to live our life in a way so at the end we won't look back with regret. Back to that sports metaphor, we don't leave anything out on the field. That you live the life that you want to according to your values and that you do the best you can. This doesn't mean everything turns out your way. It just means that you do the best you can and you act with integrity and with your values and you spend the time on the things that are important to you. So that's Erikson's last stage. And it's interesting to think about. Like I said, I think there's value here to think about this throughout our life, no matter where you are. A lot of you are a lot younger than me. You're far away from the stage, but like I said, I think it can be helpful. The other thing, we've been covering a lot of content. So for this chapter on older adulthood, I'm dropping back down to just 1 quiz and breaking it up. We just have 1 quiz. That's 10 items and 2 points each item. And I'm just trying to hit the very most important content from the book chapter. Okay? I thought I'd let you know that because we've had so much material to cover prior to this that we were having to break it up into 2 quizzes. So for this chapter and for next chapter, it won't be broken up into 2 quizzes. It'll just be 10 items, 2 points each. All right. Okay, well, let me know if you have any questions, and hopefully you'll spend the rest of this week living your best life according to your values and not leaving anything out on the field so that years, decades, and decades and decades from now, you'll have integrity versus despair.